Hi, it's Jay Brichette from the Ghostbusters Minimate Archive, here with another video review. Today we'll be looking at the first wave of Toys R Us 2-packs that come with a variety of ghosts and Ghostbusters. Let's go take a look. Now the first of many variants that we're going to be looking at is Slimed Dr. Peter Venkman. Coming straight from the scene that made slime a verb,
he slimed me.
This Peter still looks like a cartoony Bill Murray, just this time with a more scared expression. This Minimate is covered in a shiny green splatter of ectoplasm, mostly down the right side of his body. The splatter is done quite well, even having a little bit on his chin. Peter's face is a mix of shock and scared. I actually would have preferred a more angry face, as after he was slimed, he was pissed off more than anything. But hey, it's still a fun and cool looking mate. His body is the same as the regular Peter with all the bells, whistles, and his handy radio intact, as well as the proton pack, which I've gushed about before, so I'm not going to go into any major details about it now. As always, if a Minimate is carrying a proton pack, he comes with a 2-inch proton stream.
Maybe now you'll never slime a guy with a positron collider, huh?
All in all, he's an excellent figure, but the facial expression doesn't match what I think should have gone with this mate. He still gets a 9 out of 10 from me.
Feels so funky.
The other key character from this scene is none other than the Onion Head himself, Slimer.
Disgusting blob.
Everyone knows who Slimer is. Heck, he had his own cartoon show for a while. Now this is the first ghost in the Ghostbusters line that doesn't have any feet. Slimer utilizes a flight stand to keep him off the ground. The flight stand is fairly sturdy and fits in the chest block where a waist would go on a more human-esque figure. Slimer is molded in a translucent green plastic, giving him a ghostly appearance similar to what he looked like in the movie. His face is painted on top of the plastic and is ugly as hell, which is good considering the Onion Head was damn ugly in the movie. Slimer does not come with any accessories. Just too bad, a wine bottle or something would have been nice. I've always liked Slimer. He was always a fun, goofy, gross little character. And for his first Minimate, this Slimer is pretty damn awesome. He gets a 10 out of 10 from me.
He's an ugly little spud, isn't he?
Now this next variant caught me by surprise. I never would have expected they would make a Gooey Ray stance.
We're the Ghostbusters.
After closing the doorway by crossing the streams and in effect blowing Stay Puft to Kingdom Come, Ray and the team were covered in marshmallow goo, and this mate represents how Ray looked and felt quite well, I think. Unfortunately, the likeness to Dan Aykroyd still isn't there for me. I just don't see it. Besides the likeness troubles, Ray has a kind of an ew look on his face. You know, that look on your face when you sneeze into your hand and your hand gets all covered in goober? Yeah, that's Ray's face, and it works. Now this Minimate is different, because while the mold is the same as the other Ray, he's molded in white plastic with just little bits of paint detail added to detail under the goo. I like how they went about this, and it really looks like he's covered in the white marshmallow. Even the pack was molded in white to represent the sheer amount of goo that is on Ray. I was really impressed with how they pulled this off. Of course, what is a Buster without his proton stream? This makes 6 so far. All the same mold, all the same coloring. Unfortunately, it's Ray's only accessory in this box, but he does have a peg for a ghost trap. All in all, he's an interesting variant to release. I just wish they could nail Dan's likeness a little bit better. He still gets an 8 out of 10 from me.
You have been a participant in the biggest interdimensional cross-rip since the Tunguska blast of 1909.
Coming with Ray is a very red, very angry Mr. Stay Puft. Why red, you ask? And why is he semi-translucent? Stay Puft was solid. Well, this Stay Puft is to represent just when he started to explode when the boys in gray are crossing the streams. I can see where they're coming from. I mean, they get to use the Stay Puft mold again, and it's a great mold to be sure. And of course, Stay Puft should come with Ray since, you know, Ray brought him into existence. But I am not a fan of this Stay Puft. The blue paint on the hat and chest piece stand out in the wrong way from the red. Even with the few white faded details to make it look like he's about to pop, I just don't like it. This seems to me like a waste of a mate. If they wanted to use this angry face, they should have cast him in solid white and had black and red burn marks over his body. That would make more sense to me than the last millisecond of his appearance. But this one was made, and he does look kind of cool with the red translucency, but I just don't feel it's necessary. He only gets a 4 out of 10 from me.
Well,
There's something you don't see every day.
Now the Egon in this wave is the exact same as the Egon in the first box set, which I've already done a review for. The link is in the description. The only thing I have to add is another proton stream. Now packed with Egon is the first ghost ever encountered by the Ghostbusters, Eleanor Twitty, the librarian. In the movie, this ghost
Scared the socks off some poor librarian.
in the basement of the New York Public Library. She had two forms. The first was an old lady that floated around and shushed anyone making too much noise. The second form was very demonic in nature with a large jaw and beady eyes. This Minimate almost seems like a transition piece between the two. She's neither an old lady or an evil demon. Her body and hair are that of the old lady, but her face, that piece around her neck, and her claw-like hands are that of the demon. Personally, I would have liked two separate mates. The old lady with an old lady face and regular hands, and the demon scaring away old librarians and parapsychologists alike. But this mate is cast mostly in translucent purple, which works well and looks pretty ghostly. The librarian comes with a single open book, which she can read when she's not shushing people. All in all, I feel this ghost is a missed opportunity, but what we got we'll have to do. She gets a 5 out of 10 from me.
Get her!
Next up is our first mate from the second movie, Winston Zedmore in his charcoal gray Ghostbuster 2 outfit.
Stand a hand coming out the ground.
As I've said before, Winston is the fourth Ghostbuster. He gets left out of everything, which is too bad because Ernie Hudson plays the role so well and he has some really great lines in both movies. This Winston uses a different hairpiece from his first movie counterpart, which is fine, but I'm not seeing the Ernie resemblance. I hate that they could nail it so well with Bill, but the rest of the team seems to suffer. This Winston doesn't have his mustache. He shaved for the second movie, and so his eyes and mouth seem a mile apart. His body mold is the same as his GB1 counterpart, which is still a little different from the other three Ghostbusters. In place of Winston's radio is a little yellow lifeguard, which is accurate, but it's the same mold as the radio and also does not come off the belt like Peter's. Winston's right arm sports the Ghostbusters 2 Peace logo. It's etched on there quite nicely and stands out against the darker gray uniform. On Winston's back is the same proton pack we've seen before, so I won't go into it here. And of course, the only accessory Winston gets is a 2-inch proton stream. We're now up to 8. In the end, he's not a bad figure to represent Winston's first run in the Toys R Us lineup, and bringing him from the second movie shows they're not just focusing on the first movie. And in time, we'll get to see the rest of the gang in darker uniforms. This Winston gets a 7 out of 10 from me.
It's always the quiet ones.
Packed with Winston is a terror dog, which we've already seen in my first box set review, link in the description below. The last Ghostbuster of the first wave of Toys R Us Minimates is Courtroom Peter Venkman.
And you don't want us exposing ourselves.
Straight out of Ghostbusters 2, when Peter, Ray, and Egon stood trial for digging a very large hole in the middle of First Avenue,
We really didn't think anyone would notice.
Bill Murray hammed it up in this scene, playing up his sarcastic wit, which pissed off the judge, which in turn caused the Scoleri brothers to rise from the grave and bring the Ghostbusters out of retirement. This Venkman mate has a pleasant smile on his face, probably from hitting on the female prosecutor. He still has the Murray vibe about him, which I like. This is also the first Ghostbuster to not be in uniform. It's a nice suit, which is a molded jacket over the basic block, which is painted to look like a white shirt with a tie underneath. It looks nice, but kind of bulks up Peter out a bit. The jacket piece has a proton pack molded to the back, and we all know I love the pack. But the shoulder straps and kidney strap are only painted on instead of molded like the uniforms. I feel this takes away from the mate a bit. Courtroom Venkman's only accessory is yet another proton stream. 2 box sets and 1 wave later, and we have 9 streams in total. Too bad he didn't come with a jar of slime or something like that. Now one thing I did notice is since he doesn't have his elbow pads on, his arms can come closer together and he can hold the proton gun a little more accurately. I do love this mate as he represents my favorite scene from the second movie, but a couple of things could have made him that much better. He still gets an 8 out of 10 from me.
We're the best, we're the beautiful, we're the only Ghostbusters.
Packed with Courtroom Venkman is the fiendish Washington Square Ghost? If you're not a super huge Ghostbuster geek like myself, then this ghost is from a 2-second scene during a montage of ghostly attacks in the second movie after the slime rises. Not what you would expect to be packed with Courtroom Peter. This mate is actually a totally recycled piece cast in translucent orange. The body is Slimer's, with a new face painted on. The hands are from Lady Deathstrike, which is from Marvel Comics. And the feet are from the Pterodog. Even though he's recycled parts, he doesn't look too bad. He towers over the other Minimates, and he has a creepy looking face with big red eyes. Now this 2-second ghost doesn't have any accessories, which isn't all that surprising. What does a giant orange monster need with accessories anyway? He's not a bad ghost mate to have, he looks cool, and crosses off another screen-used ghost from the list. He gets an 8 out of 10 from me.
Is this a big dinosaur or a little dinosaur? Oh, just a skeleton, huh? Well, which way was it heading?
Well, there you have it, the first wave of Ghostbuster Minimates from Toys R Us. What did you think about them? Leave a comment down below. While you're down there, click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with all our video reviews. This is Jay Burchett, signing off.